Alright, well, welcome to TMR News. This will be the best place on the web that you can get your bi-monthly news. We pick through the best stories that there are to speak about on a global basis. Every couple of weeks, every month, throughout the internet and throughout multiple different news sources, so that you can experience the best and cut through all the propaganda and crap that you'll see. Chris, what aren't we talking about? I'm Sean Baker, by the way.
Sonny.
Chris.
And we've got some stipulations of what we do and don't talk about. We talk about what is current and relevant news to the furthering and the bettering of humanity.
I think technology news about
Definitely.
off-the-shelf technology and up-and-coming technology.
If it has, if you can rationalize it having an impact on your life, if you're going to wake up tomorrow and have a different world, we'll be talking about it.
Half the stuff we'll be talking about you won't see on your local news or on your national news provider. We'll be talking about behind what's happening behind the scenes on a few topics. What we believe, if you join the dots together, obviously the more information you got, the more dots you can put together, and the more you can come up with a very very well put together opinion.
And why are we doing this? I suppose.
It's hard to cut through the crap.
Yeah.
It's hard to cut through the crap.
But we do this anyway. All of us read and watch a ton of news.
That's right. And
we like hanging out, and we might as well record that discussion. And I think some people will probably find it useful.
Definitely.
So wait a minute. Before we get on, there'll be no sport or weather on this channel.
No sport.
Yeah, or whatever. Justin Bieber did this
celebrity
week.
crap.
We probably don't even know. Fortunately for us, I would say. Okay. Now another stipulation. Our channel, TMR Podcast, has violated copyright laws by posting a movie from, I think, 1963, a clip from a movie.
Stay true. Copyrights.
So we got 15 minutes limit. So this show is going to go on for an hour to an hour 20, and we're going to end this segment with a link to the rest of the show, and this will be posted on our regular channel where we have some 500 plus subscribers. Now the topics for today, we're going to talk about. I've got 7 main stories. And first, we're going to dig into a little bit about the Malaysia 370 flight and its mysterious disappearance. There are... Even mainstream media is going into hyperbolic conspiracy theories and that.
I mean, I know a couple of people who work for Qantas, and they're good friends, and they're a bit freaked out by the situation, because if you know anything about a plane, you might not realise, but once it actually drops a certain level, it goes below radar, and you can't tell. So even with how sophisticated technology is today, if the plane drops below a certain level, you can't even tell where it is. So, look, there's a number of theories. I think they're pretty sure it's terrorism at the moment. They're pretty sure someone has taken the plane because they can't find the wreckage. So,
the main thing, the most mysterious thing, and I'll end the story on this. We'll talk about it in much greater detail after the segment one, is black boxes. Every plane has nuclear bomb-proof boxes, 2 of them, that are there in cases of crashes.
And I think only one has failed.
The only time they've ever lost both black boxes on a plane was on 9/11. So this is the second time. It's a very... Something's happened where somebody, who has access to the black boxes and the GPS information on that? The airline. So someone in the airline is really not letting information out.
That's right.
Next story, Crimea, Ukraine. I mean, this has been in the news. We've been told... the Ukrainian people want their freedom and they want to join the EU, and they are being stamped down by the oppressive Russian supporting Ukrainian government.
Standing in the way of democracy. American democracy.
But funnily enough, it's actually not standing in the way of democracy. What's standing in the way of democracy is if they don't let Crimea
secede.
Become a sovereign state become part of Russia, because the referendum was 96% of Crimeans wanted to become part of Russia.
I understand that, but I think you've got democracy and hypocrisy mixed up.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I see American hypocrisy here all the way. We'll talk about that more in the up and coming.
Absolutely.
The way U.S. brings democracy is when you have a democratically elected government.
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea.
Democracy is the removal of a
democracy.
Yeah.
That's all.
Democracy is all about removing democratically elected governments.
Yeah, that's true.
To bring whatever we like.
But we'll get into talking a lot about the power military structures that are in play through Crimea and Ukraine.
March in March. Okay, this is a local story to us here in Melbourne. I haven't been there, but I think half the people I know have. There was recent protests. Just generally, we are discontented and unhappy with the general situation of generally things in general, and
a bit of a vote of no confidence from the what some people may consider an ultra conservative Australian government, and some people thinking that some of the policies and procedures they're putting in place are not that.
They're not
here for the people.
They're not here for corporate. They're corporate governments. So.
And
they're dickheads.
And they're unlike a country like the US, where they have a corporate puppet and they put him on stage, and it looks kind of like, oh, this guy's for real. He's black and he speaks with a ghetto accent, and you know, like he likes Jay-Z. Like our corporate puppet here, Tony Abbott.
Yeah.
His favourite line is, "We're open for business. We're open for business. We're open."
We're open for business, Australia. That's great.
The guy looks like you found him on a second-hand car sales lot, pushing.
It looks,
dodgy.
It looks like he's from fucking Lord of the Rings. He does.
I think you got it wrong. I think Tony Abbott, and I know a lot of people out there have watched this 60s icon show called Get Smart. And if you remember the robot on Get Smart, Jaime, that reminds me of Tony Abbott. He's programmable.
Oh, isn't he? Yeah.
He does what he's told.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Okay, wrapping it up. Next story is going to be on Snowden made a TED talk on a robot, and it was pretty cool. He said some good things. NSA responded, and there's a very, I would say, disturbing cross-section of what Snowden himself and NSA agrees with. I personally am a huge supporter of Snowden and what he did, but I think that a lot of people in the activist community have this notion that, this guy is for open source, freedom of information, that the public should really know everything, and the reality is, and we'll get into that, the reality is that 95% of the documents that Snowden took from the NSA are still hidden from the public. They're under the ownership of a guy that also owns eBay, Pierre Midyar.
Really?
Yep, who's going into partnership with Glenn Greenwald in a company. So there are gray areas and shady things about Snowden, but there's no gray areas when it comes to the NSA response, where the guy was trying to invoke love of America and patriotism.
Oh, I love that. That gets me every time. Brings a tear to my eye. Brings a tear to my eye. Oh, my God. Sometimes
I love patriotism.
Oh, I love it.
I pay it every year. It's called tax.
That's right. Take fucking 30% of my working wage.
My patriotism.
Yeah. There you go. Do what you want with it.
Always makes me cry.
I won't complain. Oh, no. Yeah.
Sean, the next one you brought, by the way, most of the news here are brought to you by the big man in the middle.
They did a bit of research.
They did a lot of research this week. Next week, I intend to try to do some of the heavy lifting, and Chris is committed.
I'm just here for comedy relief.
Well,
Chris here for the looks. We're just here for him, Scott. I love that.
He's the resident Bill Hicks. He's more of a hick than Bill, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
Israeli embassy strike. What's going on?
Look, to be honest, I only found it today. It only came out today, but from what I've been told through, look, it's Russia Today, so as much as you want to read into that, but apparently throughout their consulate staff have been in a pay dispute for quite some time, and they have not been paid what they wanted to do. So nearly 90% of Israeli embassies throughout the world have been shut down. Now, the conspiracy flags are waving high, saying that they think that Israel's about to make a strike on Syria, and they're just shutting down all their embassies so that they can. But that's with my limited information.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got the link there, so we'll be talking a lot more about that. It's actually quite interesting.
I think we should occupy these embassies.
Yeah,
Since they're not using it, occupy movement, move in.
Yeah, set up homeless shelters in the embassy.
For Palestinians!
That would be...
That's excellent. That's gold. How about that?
No, I imagine
Palestinians only.
Let's lobby the government. Let's
take their property and move in.
I think we should move in. I reckon, if you went to the Israeli embassy, the thing is probably, in a Faraday cage, tap-proof, nuclear bomb-proof, Arab-proof, it's... I reckon...
Arab-proof? How do you get something Arab-proof?
You can't put it on a magic carpet.
Put the Star of David and two blue lines. It's already Arab-proof.
No.
They won't go near it.
Well, if I go in, I'm going to go straight to the basement because I've always wanted an Uzi.
I know.
Last story, talking of Arabs.
Talking of the most extreme Arabs. The U.S. created, U.S. supported Muslim Brotherhood that was meant, to a large extent, to take over in Egypt, are now being persecuted by what I understand to be the army in charge, because I don't... Well, no, yeah, it is. It's an army-ruled government. That's for sure. Yeah.
Effectively, Muslim Brotherhood were meant, with the Egyptian revolution, to ascend and share power with this guy called El Baradei, who was a U.S. puppet. However, what happened was that army, more or less the same guys that controlled Mubarak, remained in control, and
that's right,
Muslim Brotherhood is challenging them for power, and now they're sentencing 528 of them to death.
I think that they actually did obviously I don't know what they all did, but there was a few of them, a fair few that have been charged with murder and that sort of thing. So I don't know. Obviously, not all of them would have been charged with murder, but there was a portion of them that
army, one in all in.
One in all in.
A bit. I think
all I know is that in the West, for better or worse, when somebody kills somebody, they spend a few years in court. And then they have another 5-6 years of appeals.
Yeah.
No,
that doesn't happen. There's an army in control of your government, and you pretty much got a couple of months.
So there's no green mile.
No.
528 at a time. That must be they're going for the record.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Trying to beat Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So that is okay. I think we've at this stage,
we will be talking about a few more. It's not all doom and gloom. We do get into some, fun and interesting topics at the end of it. But
everything we talk about will have links linked in the description. Description will be below there. We are going to try our best to distinguish between what we have evidence for and what we're speculating about. I believe that speculation is both fun, useful, and conducive to figuring out what's going on, but you've got to be explicit when you say, okay, you're speculating.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Hey?
No.
I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. Come on.
And since we're hitting our 15-minute censorship mark, the link will be, bam, right here. The screen's going to come on, and continue watching us and hearing about all these stories in detail.